Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome here to the first race of the second season of the NASCAR Busch Series powered by the WRA. Getting ready for 42 laps of racing here today. Yesterday's Truck Series race was the Coke Vanilla 299. Today is uh, the Coke Zero 399 here at Coca-Cola Super Speedway. Going to be a fun race here today. If it's anything like our truck race yesterday, we are in for a very exciting, wild 42 laps of racing. Quentin Moore starts on the pole position in the number 89. He was one of the Go or Go homers that made the show. Yes, Go or Go home qualifying was a little um, clustermatic, if you ask me. Is alongside of Liliana Beta, who will be in tomorrow afternoon's Winston Cup Series as she's just trying to get some extra track time. She's not running for Busch points this season, so she is going to just focus on getting some experience to help her out for tomorrow's Winston Cup race. Mohammed Zain in row number 2, alongside of him is Autumn McDowell in the number 84. As you look at the rest of the starting grid, these are the results from yesterday's qualifying session. This is the first on-track activity we have here today because we didn't have anything other than Winston Cup Happy Hour that just wrapped up before these cars are rolling out on the track. I know I mentioned it in the Discord, but I'll go ahead and just do this now. After this race, the top 30 in the official finisher results, excluding the 64, will be locked into next week's race at Rockingham, North Carolina. Because the reason I bring that up is that the 64, yes, it's going to be a full time car. It's not going to be points with Liliana Beta because Beta is full time in the Winston Cup Series. She's just running down here in the Busch Series for a handful of races because she's getting prepared for her debut in the Winston Cup Series tomorrow afternoon. So if the 64 is in the top 30, the next car who would be 31st will be locked in the show because of the 64 will be out of the top 30 in the standings. I know I originally said first 4 races, but because I goofed on, the owner points and all that yada yada yada, we decided to go with the top 30 after this race. It'll be the same rules for the Truck Series that will apply for the Winston Cup Series, which will go by this season's points after race number 5. Pace car is off, getting ready to go racing here at Coca-Cola Super Speedway. Glad you're along for the ride. And in the words of Lee Diffie, it's time to bring the action. We're green at Coca-Cola. And you have to excuse me for a bit because my nose is going bonkers. Sorry if you had to hear me blow my nose, so you have to excuse me for that. Allergies is the reason. Mohammed Zain, he ran in yesterday's Coca-Cola Truck Series event here yesterday. There's a lot of drivers that were in the Truck Series race or in this race. Ashlyn Wright looking to bounce back after a tough truck race yesterday. That's her with the Mikasuki Dodge, the green roof number on that outside line. There's Autumn McDowell, high pace car. And who's that on the bottom? That is a 9. That's Jamie Bonine, who was runner-up in the Truck Series last season. Right behind him, Marco Diaz, the former Buffalo Wild Wings Series champion. Actually, we have 2 former what was then PCSRA champions in this field. You have Marco Diaz right there, and not too far behind, Ricky Cervantes. Cervantes, a former Coca-Cola Truck Series champion from 2015. Jamie Bonine, the reason he was locked in the show was because the drivers that made the playoffs in the Truck Series last season got to take the points from the playoff contenders that moved up to the Winston Cup Series. Got moved up to Winston Cup, and they'll stay in Winston Cup until they get a ride. That's Kyle Langeland in the 26, back for a second season in the Dr. Pepper machine. That's Suni Sue. That's Carolina Bradley. There's Ricky Cervantes. That's Alex Winters, who also moved up to the Busch Series from the Craftsman Truck Series from last season. As Kyle Langeland still leads this race. If you hear my voice sounding a bit weird from the truck race to this race, I do apologize. As I said, allergies is becoming a problem of late here in my state, so please forgive me. Somebody moved from the bottom to the top. That looked like a black and red on the front. I think that was Jesse Art in the 12. It was the 12 of Jesse Art. She's dropping back here at the rear of the field. Harrison Jenkins was very impressive last season, driving for Ricky Cervantes. Hazel Eveling in the 88. That's that's Brenda Eveling in the 87. They got the owner points last season. Notice a car that's about to lose the pack is the 5. That's Dylan Ebrahimian. Looks like he's lost the draft, as we're going to go on board with Dylan Ebrahimian. He's probably thinking there's going to be a wreck at some point, so where he can get through the carnage as far as that's concerned. Played a factor in yesterday's Truck Series race where we had 2 cautions in that event. Oh, there we go. I just called it, didn't I? I just called it. Oh, Sue is in it. Olivia Jackson, Hazel Eveling, Abigail Litt. Oh, Carolina Bradley, Autumn McDowell, Brenda Eveling. Caution is out. Well, what was I talking about that big wreck? It has happened. The big one. But it happened on lap number 6. Now, let's see if these drivers can slow down. I don't like the way they're side by side. We can get these cars slowed down. That would be fantastic news. Looks like everybody... Okay, slow down, y'all. We're under caution. We're not racing, okay? A lot of damage to Brenda. It looks like both the Nemco cars. Abigail Lynn, Olivia Jackson, Violet Jackson, Carolina Bradley, Suni Sue involved. Don't think these drivers are going to make it on tires. I don't know if they're going to come to pit road or not. We're going to see if they are. This is an early caution, by the way. It looks like they are going to come to pit road. Okay, so all these drivers are pitting. Let's jump back, look at a replay to find out what happened. The big one strikes in the early stages here at Coca-Cola. It's like a 4-wide situation. We saw this yesterday in the Truck Series race. Cannot tell who made the first contact. I would assume. Looks like the 84 moved up. Looks like the 84 and 88 got together. And then they made contact there. Quentin Moore did a great job missing this crash. And as drivers are trying to react, as you see the 87 hit the 25, when you hit that apron, the car is going to wiggle. Brenda Ealing backs their Cellular One Chevrolet into the wall along with Carolina Bradley. Evelyn gets her car under control. Bradley not so fortunate. She's going to clip onto McDowell. And she gets stuck on the apron, so she'll end up having to teleport to pit road. There's Abigail Lynn, Evelyn, Violet Jackson. Suni Sue's car flipped upside down as she came sliding down. Doesn't look like she got a whole lot of damage, but as I talked about the transition from the higher banking to the flat, it's a different elevation change. And it flipped the Reese's Chocolate Lover Chevrolet upside down. A lot of damage to Olivia Jackson. Came in with high hopes. So 2 of the 3 Jackson sisters involved in this wreck. As the first caution of the day is out, let's get to the restart here at Coca-Cola. Going to go back to green on lap number 11 of 42. That would give us 32 laps of racing to go. K Langeland is the leader. J.J. Palmer is second. Alex Winters third. Billy Kitchens fourth. T Tupola fifth. 6th is London Jackson. 7th is E Amirmoez. Josh Harmon in 8th. Luna Farmer 9th. And 10th is Jamie Bonine. It's like Carolina Bradley is a lap down. Drivers out from that incident. Harrison Jenkins blew his engine under the coming to pit road. So he's out of the race with a engine problem. So that's a tough break for him. Not the way he wanted to start off his season. Abigail Lynn, Autumn McDowell, Violet Jackson, Suni Sue, a couple of Richard Childress racing cars now out of the race, as they will not see the checker flag. So a tough break for those 4 drivers. They are going to be taken to the infield care center. One thing I did not mention in the truck race yesterday is that anyone that retires out of the race with damage is required to go to the care center, which all the drivers were checked and released from the care center, so which is good. So we have 37 drivers on track, 36 of them on the lead lap. So now this gets interesting because we made pit stops on lap number 7. Can they go the rest of the way on tires, or do they think they cannot make it on tires? That's something I think we're going to be discussing that in this race, and that's something that the drivers that are in this race that are doing double or triple duty, as we're back to green, that's something they'll have to think about going into tomorrow's Winston Cup races. The 13 was right behind the 25 for some reason. That was Billy Kitchens, last season's Truck Series champ, as K Langeland leads us back to green, but he will be swallowed up real quickly. He got a big jump, but on a restrictor plate track like Coca-Cola, that is not a good idea. It's actually going to hurt because here comes Alex Winters in the Dollar General Chevrolet going to go by. Alex Winters last season in the Truck Series made the playoffs, got eliminated after the round of 8. Remember, this season we're only doing a non-playoff system. So the 2 drivers that are part of the playoffs from the Truck Series 1-2, that would be Kitchens and Winters. Kitchens ended up winning the championship. E Amirmoez in second. There's London Jackson. She's the last remaining Jackson sibling in the race that is as far as no damage on the Menard Chevrolet. T Tupola. Up, Josh Harmon's coming to pit road. Something's up with the Furniture Row Chevrolet. Coming to pit road all by himself. What's this all about? Stop and go penalty, I'm assuming. That's not good for Josh Harmon because now he just lost the draft as a result. As I was saying, T Tupola, first full season for him. Of Of course, remember, he does not have an R next to his name. That's because of the fact he took part in more than 7 Busch races last season, no longer qualified, finished 40th in the points. But remember, he got the owner points from the 20 as far as that is concerned. Ashlyn Wright in 26. Remember, she and a couple of other drivers are the only ones on track. We're on track today because remember, we had final 2 practice sessions for the Winston Cup Series that was not taped. So that was the only on track activity other than this race. Top 8, single file. Ricky Cervantes trying to stay up there. Luna Farmer having a better run in 9th. There's Abigail Stone in 10th. If the 58 loses the draft, he will get caught up by that second pack. Liliana Bates are running in 15th. Courtney Lynn having a good run in 16th. Courtney Lynn last season had to qualify her way into the show. Did very well getting her car in the show. The Bryans Meet Chevrolet out of Michael Waltrip Racing. Courtney Lynn last season in the Winston Cup Series got a win, but wasn't high enough in points to have her win count for a spot in the playoffs. Thought that going for a Busch championship would be a good idea. She's going to run part-time in the Winston Cup Series this season. There's Morgan Le Fay, Margaret Diaz, Jessie Art, who was also in the Truck Series last season here in the Busch Series. She's running in 19th. Senor Sean and I talked about Jessie yesterday during our pole day qualifying show, which I asked the question to Sean, with Jessie qualified 24th and you're starting towards the rear of the field, would track position be a completely different story? I apologize about my phone going off. It was a spammer. I asked him, are you concerned about that? He said no. Jessie really did a great job last year in the Truck Series. And of course, she's driving a car that really struggled in the points last season in the Busch Series with Kat Serra behind the wheel. JB Mo9 has lost the pack. He'll get caught up by the second pack led by D Ebrahimian. Taylor Valley, Lauren Grubius. Tyler Ware in the 81, no relationship to Cody Ware in real life. There's Emily Green, Marcus Sellers. There's Ashlyn Wright. Ashlyn Wright, 2 days in a row, she's not having a good run, but just remember, she is a full-time rookie. She's never raced here at Coca-Cola before, so I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. And tell you what, those drivers that were single file, they are starting to form this lead pack up here. And Billy Kitchens leads the way. This car, by the way, won this race last year with E Amirmoez, who became a 4-time winner and will be in the Winston Cup Series. T Tupola. There's E Amirmoez, K Langeland, Luna Farmer. That's Daniel Gitteroth, who ran in the truck race yesterday. Carolina Bradley, Brenda Ewing, they're going to be catching those drivers. Josh Harmon's all by himself in 36, but he is going to be up to speed. Xavier Allsopp, K Amirmoez, who moved over to the 10, running in 32nd. So it looks like he could be the driver at danger of having to qualify his way into the field next week at the Rock, because remember, I screwed up on the point situations, but then again, I was doing it at like 3 o'clock in the morning. At the midway point of this race, they're going to be catching lap traffic up ahead in a second. That's Carolina Bradley. They're going to lap. Of course, Nathan Orman's on the pit box of the 98 machine of Courtney Lynn. Of course, remember, Courtney Lynn's running part-time in the Winston Cup Series, as London Jackson's going to get held up. Looks like the 87 moves out of the way. That was Brenda Ealing, who is moving out of Courtney Lynn's way, so Courtney appreciated that. Liliana, whoa, Brenda Ealing tried to chop off Liliana Beta there. I don't think Beta will be too pleased about that. That's a great way to get asking yourself to get turned there, Buckwheat. Remember, Brenda Ealing was involved in that caution we had. Next car they're going to be lapping will be Olivia Jackson. Carolina Bradley is 2 laps down. She also lost a lap in the pits while they were getting her 25 car repaired. Mohammed Zain, Courtney Lynn having a good run. This is going to definitely lock Courtney Lynn in the show. Luna Farmer having a much better run in the Albertsons Ford for PBC Racing. If there's one gal I really think needs to have a much better season, it would be Luna Farmer. Really would love Luna Farmer to have a much better season. Because I know that car in real life was top 10 in the points. Up, caution. Caution's out for the second time today. What happened? Oh! Bonine and Sarah Costello have crashed. That's a huge break for a number of drivers who lost the draft, like the 99, the 1. Our second caution of the day. Looks like we had some skid marks in turn number 2. Now this is where it gets interesting. We never saw this in Trucks or Winston Cup in their clash last Saturday. Is 2 cautions. But do these drivers think they have enough tires? They have enough gas to make it. Will they have enough tires to make it the rest of the way if they were to pit? We're going to find that out right now. Also, I should mention, Courtney Lynn has also been in and out of the infield care center all weekend. It looks like they're going to stay out, so caution is out for the second time today. Let's jump back, look at a replay to find out what happened to Jamie Bonine and Sarah Costello. We're halfway through this race here at Coca-Cola. Looks like something happened to the 9 car. It looks like a mechanical problem or something happened on the Pennzoil Ford. Bam! There's where it goes. He's trying to get on the apron, but he slid in the oil, and then nowhere for the 49 of Sarah Costello to go. Pyle drove the nose on the Advil Ford. Ooh, boy, a couple of drivers almost hit her. They were running at 28th and 29th at the time of the crash. I, I think Jamie Bonine, his day is going to be done. I believe Sarah Cassell looks like her day is going to be done as well. So a tough break for those drivers. But remember, the 64 not running for points today. We'll have to see if this will get them locked into shows. We're going to head to the restart here at Coca-Cola. We're going to go back to green on lap 29 of 42 as we'll be past the three-quarter mark of this race. Mohammed Zain is the leader. Courtney Lynn is second. Third is Abigail Stone. Good run for Abigail Stone. T Tupola fourth. Daniel Gitiroyk fifth. Billy Kitchen sixth. Luna Farmer seventh. London Jackson eighth. Alex Winters ninth. And Liliana Beta will complete your top 10 in the process. And looks like out of the race is going to be the 9 and the 49. So not really sure what let go on the Pennzoil Ford of Billy Kitchens, but that is a tough break for him. Tough break for Sarah Casillo, who was having a quiet run until that happened. So as now we have 35 on track, 32 of them on the lead lap. 7 of them are back in the garage area. I bet Sarah Casillo got out of the car and Billy Kitchen got out of his car, and I think Sarah went over to ask what happened. He said, I lost the engine. So, looks like those two didn't have any. And, of course, those two hugged it out, so that's good. I'm glad they were okay. Both of those drivers have gone to the infield care center to be checked and released, so it looks like no hard feelings for the 9 and the 49. So glad that both of them got out of their cars, talked about it, what happened, because they went in the same ambulance, so that's why they wanted to talk about it on the way to the care center. Green flag back in the air. Don't know. Okay, the A7 is moving out of the way of the 2. And this looks like the leader's just trying to get by. Up, yellow, rack. Oh, rack, big rack on the back straightaway. Oh, get her off. This is another big one. Cervantes, Tyler Ware's involved. Oh, he just got hit by the 54. That's Rosalinda Masterson. Olivia Jackson. Jesse Art might have gotten a piece. Xavier Allsopp, Ashlyn Wright, Lauren Grubius. Yellow again. Just after the restart, another wreck. The good news is Sean likes carnage. The bad news is Sean's sister got involved in her brother's carnage. Oh, Marco Diaz is involved. Second accident for Hazel Evelyn and Olivia Jackson. Remember, they were caught up in that first wreck. Tyler Ware, a lot of damage on his machine. There's Marcus Sellers. Not sure if he got a piece of it or not. Ricky Cervantes did. Dylan Ebrahimian did. That was all cause of the lap traffic. So that was a quick yellow. Our third yellow of the day. Courtney Lynn is the leader. Now, what do? That was the last thing Courtney Lynn wanted to see as a caution. But good opportunity for them to continue to save more fuel. Let's jump back and look at a replay to find out what in the world happened to cause this third yellow. In the words of Sean, this is a sentence of the, you know what not clear means. Rosalinda Masterson had one hell of a run. Cervantes tried to throw a block and put both of them into the wall. That's what caused that. Bora Park got a piece of it. Jesse got into Marco Diaz. There's where the 46 gets involved. Grubius got a piece of it, so not a good day for DVR if you ask me. Ashlyn Wright spun out. I don't know if she made any contact. She did not. Who did she get hit by? That's the question. She must have got hit by... She got hit by Cervantes. And then bounced off Taylor Valley. I don't know who was that car that went to the inside wall. Oh, Jesse Art. Looks like she went in the inside wall along with Grubius. That was when she hit the 0. And then here comes where the 43 gets involved. Hits the 0, hits Jesse Art. And Jesse just doesn't have anywhere to go. And she's going to definitely lightly tap the inside wall on the front end of her Jana King Dodge. And then how did Olivia Jackson get a piece of this incident? Oh, she ran the back. I think it was the 88. Hit the 88 and the 35. And remember, the 88 was already involved in our first yellow. Now she's involved in this one. She might be done for the day. But a multi-car wreck on the back straightaway, bringing out our third caution of the event. We're going to have some more drivers out of the races. We're going to head to the restart here at Coca-Cola. As we're going to head back to green, we're inside of 10 laps to go to finish up this race. Courtney Lynn's the leader, Muhammad Zain second, Daniel Gitiroyk third, Billy Kitchens fourth, Abigail Stone fifth, Luna Farmer sixth, Liliana Bates seventh, London Jackson, Kyle Langeland, Alex Winters the top 10. I tell you what, for a gal who's been under the weather and trying to toughen it out, I say Nathan Orman's got himself a good chick that is going to toughen it out. And I applied Courtney Lynn for saying, I don't care if I'm sick, I'm here to race. And if I have to get people from the infield care center to give me Gatorade, whether it's on pit road or in victory lane, I'll be fine with that. I applaud to Nathan Orman for that. More drivers out of the race from this incident. Ricky Cervantes, Tyler Ware, Olivia Jackson. Make sure I did not derp. Nope, I did not derp. Okay. Hazel Eveling out of the race, along with Rosalinda Messon and Marco Diaz, all out of the race. They joined Jamie Bonine, Sarah Costello, Harrison Jenkins, the 66 of Abigail Lynn, Autumn McDowell, Violet Jackson, and Suni Sue all back behind the wall and out of the race. So we're down to one Jackson sister, that being London. As we are back to green flag racing here at Coca-Cola. Want to remind everybody this copyrighted broadcast is presented by the authority of the World Racing Association for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction or rebroadcast or retransmitted or any other disseminations or the use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the World Racing Association is prohibited. Blue Hedgehog TV and the World Racing Association want to thank you fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. Josh Harmon, that caution did not do him any good other than gain some positions. So really don't know what was the issue for Josh Harmon. That's a tough break for him. Had a problem coming back to one of the restarts, and well, that's a shame, as there's Daniel Gitiroyk. And if you're wondering what Courtney Lynn, has, she's been having the flu. So she's been under the weather all weekend. But I like her determination to try to go out there, just race today. I know Nathan Orman's going to probably, go to the infield care center with Courtney Lynn after this race is over. They'll probably give her some IVs, give her some medicine. And I know Courtney Lynn will be ready to go for Rockingham, North Carolina next week. I know her sister is out of the race. And by the way, for Tyler Ware, he will be the last car into the show because, as I said before, the 64 is with Liliana Beta as the driver. She's not running the full Busch schedule. So Tyler Ware will be in the final transfer spot as far as the drivers getting locked into the show for next week's race. So Tyler Ware will get to make the show next week at Rockingham. And as I said, it's because Liliana Beta is not running for points in the Busch Series. Keep that in mind. So it moves the cut line. We might see Annie Winters in that ride next week at Rockingham. That's why the 64, while yes, they're in the top 30 in the points table, it's not going to make a difference if you ask me. Also, I should note both of the Michael Waltrip racing cars that are in this race, they will be locked in the show, so they won't have to worry about having to make the show on time. But everybody 32nd on down, they will have to make the show on time. Jesse Art running at 26. Of course, they got one more Art family that still has to race tomorrow. That would be Senor Sean, as we will bring you the Winston Cup Series race tomorrow afternoon. Should also forgot to mention is there's going to be soon to be 9 rides left as I'm recording this because I'm still reserving a ride for one of I will update the descriptions. We're down to 2 laps to go. Courtney Lynn leads the race. We talked about Michael Brown, who won the truck race yesterday. Well, Nathan Orman Motorsports trying to go 2 for 2 this weekend. But Carolina Bradley could play spoiler into that. As we're coming to the white flag, don't count out Liliana Beta. She's got a chance to win this race. Remember, she's not running for the Busch Championship. She's running for the Winston Cup titles. We're on the last lap of the race here at Coca-Cola. Wouldn't that be something if Beta gets her first Busch win? That would be confidence for her going into the Cup race tomorrow. Don't count out E Amirmoez, who could make a move. Don't know if they'll catch the 25, though. Morgan Le Fay, where did the 32 come from? It might be too little too late. Liliana Beta is gonna win the Coca-Cola 303.99 at Coca-Cola. Unfortunately for her, she will not be the points leader because of the fact she's a part-time driver. But she becomes the first part-time driver to go to victory lane this season. How about that for the 64 team? Something to also consider in addition to being locked in the top 30. If a part-time ride goes to victory lane, they're locked into the show for the rest of the year with the winter provisional. So there goes one of the provisionals, by the way. We're going to wait for the standings to get official. And that's why Liliana Beta, who made the playoffs last season, this is good confidence for her going into tomorrow's Winston Cup Series race here at Coca-Cola. And she's going to be starting, she's got her work cut out for her tomorrow. Standings are now official. Morgan Le Fay, where did she come from? As she comes away in second. Daniel Gitiroyk third, Billy Kitchens fourth, D Ebrahimian fifth. These are not retired. It is they finished the race, so that's a error, by the way. Just letting you know. But good runs for these drivers. Billy Kitchen picking up right where he left off from the Truck Series last season. T Tupola 6th, London Jackson will get 7th, Alex Winters 8th, Abigail Stone 9th, and Kyle Langeland, great run for him in 10th. Courtney Lynn will get 11th. I bet you Nathan Orman will make sure Courtney Lynn gets to the infield care center, but I don't think Courtney Lynn will need assistance. She will be taken on a golf cart so they can give her medicine and all that, but still a good run for Courtney Lynn. Luna Farmer, Bora Park, who was involved in that wreck, nice rebound to a 13th. Muhammad Zain, Emily Green, your top 15. Quentin Moore on the pole, 16th for him. Looking down through the remainder of the finishing results, Jesse Art, the last car to finish on the lead lap at 25th, was involved in that last wreck. She was trying to salvage something out of this day, but good news is she'll be locked into the show. We had 29 drivers finish the race, 25 on the lead lap, and the rest of the field did not reach the conclusion of the race. Cervantes, Ware, Jackson, Olivia Jackson, Hazel, Evelyn, Masterson, Diaz, Bonine, Castillo, Jenkins, Abigail Lynn, McDowell, Violet Jackson, and Suni Sue all did not reach the conclusion of the race. And there's some big names who finished well in points last season. They're going to have to race their way in to next week's race at Rockingham, North Carolina. So we'll have to see how that goes. But thank you all for joining me for today's race. Congratulations to Liliana Beta on the win. If you enjoyed this race, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the World Racing Association crew today. We showed your full finish results. The results are the same as your points heading into next week at Rockingham, North Carolina. We'll see you tomorrow for the Winston Cup race. Until then, I'm T Tupola. Thank you for joining me and saying goodbye from Coca-Cola Super Speedway. We will talk to you all tomorrow. Coming up next, we'll rejoin the Infinity Network Sports Studios programming already in progress. You've been watching the World Racing Association, the greatest racing since 2013.